Hello friends, I hope you all are doing well and staying safe at your own place. I, CA Pujin Kapadia, welcome you all to today's lecture on the topic financial management. As you all are very well aware, we had started with the topic of chapter leverage. Under this particular chapter, first of all, I had discussed what is the definition of the term leverage, under which I had told you what is leverage. It is employment of an asset or funds for which the firm pays a fixed cost or it pays fixed return. So basically it talks about employment of two things. One is asset which is having fixed cost, and second is any source of fund which is having a fixed return to be paid as a cost of capital. Let's see it in a graphical format. First word that is popped up on your particular screen is business employees. So what is basically business employing? It is employing assets which are having fixed operating cost. I hope you are clear with what is fixed operating cost. The cost which is constant irrespective of your amount of sale, irrespective of your total production of your units. No matter what is your total production, no matter what is your total sales, this cost is always remain to stay constant. For example, rent of a factory, fine, it is our fixed cost. So basically when a business is employing any asset with fixed operating cost with a motive to increase the earnings of equity shareholders, this employment is basically going to be termed as operating leverage. So this is, you can say, one side of the coin that we have studied, operating leverage. In second scenario, business is employing funds with fixed financial cost, under which I have given you the example. For example, if I want additional capital, then I am opting to go to bank to avail bank loan. Now you know guys that bank loan is having a fixed charge in form of interest. So interest is my fixed financial cost. So this is the second side of the coin, under which I am telling you that when a business is employing the funds which are having fixed financial cost, again my motive is the same, that is to increase the earnings of the equity shareholders. Then in such scenario it will be termed as financial leverage. Broadly classifying, as I have discussed already, leverage are of three types. If it is with respect to assets having fixed cost, it is known as operating leverage. If it is with relevant to funds which are having fixed financial cost, it is known as financial leverage. And these two things as a whole, that is, I can say business as a whole, if we combine both the things, it is known as combined leverage. I hope I'm clear with this particular slide. In the second slide, we have seen a journey in the name of financial sheet. That is the journey from the sales to EPS. What is my sales? It is my first point of revenue. That is the point from where I am receiving the revenue. What is EPS? It is the final stage, which is earnings per equity share. Fine. Now, in this particular case, we need to remember this particular table, which is being reflected on your screen, under which I have told you each and everything. I had explained you each and every terminology. I hope you are clear with this particular part. I have bolded specifically two important points. First was fixed cost and second was interest. Because when I'm talking about leverage, I'm talking about fixed obligations. And we know that whenever I'm talking about fixed cost, it is going to be relevant to the study of operating leverage. And whenever I'm going to talk about fixed financial cost in form of interest, I'm going to take care of financial leverage. As a result of which, at the end there is a box that what is EPS? EPS is equal to earnings available for equity shareholders divided by number of equity shares. That is, I want to know what am I earning per outstanding equity share. So this earning per share is nothing. It is known as EPS, that is earnings per share. Now let's take a look from the viewpoint of leverage, how this financial sheet is going to be useful. Now, first of all, I have given you the formula of operating leverage. As I have told you, operating leverage is mainly related to the fixed cost of asset. So what we are going to remember from the viewpoint of memorizing formula, that the amount before fixed cost and the amount after fixed cost, that is contribution divided by EBIT, which is earnings before interest and tax. So if we'll see over here in the box, what is the formula? It is contribution divided by EBIT, that is your operating profit, known as earnings before interest and tax. I hope I'm clear with this. Fine. Next is financial leverage. When I explained financial leverage, I was talking about fixed financial cost in the form of basically interest. Now in this particular scenario, what we need to remember over here is amount before interest and amount after interest. That is EBIT divided by EBT. The same thing is written over here. And at the end, the third part is combined leverage. I have told you combined leverage is the overall effect on the entire business. That is combination, multiplier of operating leverage as well as financial leverage. As a result of it, the formula I have written over here is operating leverage multiplied by financial leverage. What was the formula of operating leverage? It was contribution divided by EBIT. What was the formula of financial leverage? It was EBIT divided by EBIT. If I'm solving out this particular equation, I'm going to remain with the formula contribution divided by EBT. Now, if you take a look at the financial sheet, where is contribution? Over here. And where is EBT? Over here. So basically, the formula of combined leverage is considering both the aspects, with related to fixed cost of asset and with related to fixed financial cost in form of interest. So it is covering both the things, that is operating as well as financial leverage. So this is what we had studied till date. I hope you are totally clear with these two particular slides. So today we are going to start with a topic called operating leverage, under which I am going to explain you primarily what is the meaning of operating leverage, what is the formula of operating leverage. We are going to do an example on this particular thing, like how to calculate operating leverage. Then we are going to study the effect and interpret like what the operating leverage is telling us, what it is showing us. And at the end, we are going to take the importance of operating leverage. So these are the wider categories that we are going to cover under this head of operating leverage. So let's start with the first slide, under which I have written operating leverage meaning. So in this particular slide, we are going to have an idea like what is operating leverage. First of all, a measure of sensitivity of operating profit to the changes in sales is operating leverage. Basically, first of all, you need to remember it is a measure of sensitivity. Now, this word basically implies that if I am doing a minute change in one particular variable, it is going to have a multiplier change on the another variable. So suppose in common mathematical terminology, if I want to say, if I am increasing the value of x by 5%, then there may be the case that my value of y is going to increase by 20%. So, you know, a minor change is going to bring a major change on the another variable. This is nothing. This is known as the measure of sensitivity. So under this particular topic, we are talking about a measure of sensitivity of operating profit. What is operating profit? It is your EBIT, which means earnings before interest and tax. To which other variable? To the changes in sales. So basically, operating leverage is going to show me how much change is going to be there in operating profit with a minor change then in the value of sales. So it is basically showing me the relation between EBIT and sales. When we are going to study the interpretation part, we will be more clear about this particular sensitivity. Second point that I have written over here is, due to existence of fixed cost, a small change in sales revenue may lead to magnifier impact on the operating profit. This multiplier effect is called degree of operating leverage. So basically, I want to say by this particular point that it is fixed cost, as a result of which I am getting this magnifier impact. Now just let's take an example in this particular slide. Fine. Under which we have taken care of this table. First of all, sales. Now suppose my sales is 1 lakh rupees. Variable cost is 50,000. So contribution is going to be 50,000 rupees. Now, if I'm not having any fixed cost, if I'm writing over here 0, what will be my EBIT? 50,000. So no matter how much do I change my sales, my EBIT and my contribution are always going to remain constant. Why? Because there is no fixed cost. So basically, when can I have a change in EBIT? Only when there is the existence of fixed cost. So it is necessary, as I have taught you over here in this particular line, that is in the second point. Thus, it is due to existence of fixed cost, a change in sales revenue is going to have a magnifier impact on the operating profit. Now, how it is going to work out, we are going to deal with formula and the practical example in the upcoming slides. So you are going to get clear about what I'm talking about. So by now, you are just supposed to remember two important points. First is that it is a measure of sensitivity between two variables. One is operating profit and another is sales. It is just because of existence of fixed cost that you are going to study this measure of sensitivity. That is, you are having this magnifier impact only because of existence of fixed cost. If there is no fixed cost, we are not going to have any kind of operating leverage. This is what I have mentioned in the third point. If there is no fixed cost, then change in sales will be directly proportionate to change in operating profit. As I have told you, the amount of my contribution and the amount of my EBIT is going to remain same if I am not having any kind of fixed cost. So if that is a scenario, then there will be no operating leverage. So you guys are just supposed to remember over here, if there is no fixed cost, there are no chances that operating leverage will exist. So existence of operating leverage is directly dependent on the existence of fixed cost. So unless and until I am not having any kind of asset which are having fixed cost, I cannot have the concept of operating leverage. So you can say, what is at the heart of operating leverage? You will say fixed cost. I hope I'm clear with this particular slide. I'm just giving you a moment, take a quick overview on all the 3 points. Well, I guess you are clear with all the 3 points. Let's move ahead. The topic is formula of operating leverage. Here, we are basically going to study the same formula with 2 different notations. So first of all, let us take the first formula. What is the formula of operating leverage? It is contribution divided by operating profit. It is nothing what I have told you at the time of studying the financial sheet. That is, we are going to take the amount before fixed cost and amount after fixed cost. I hope you can recollect with me what was our financial sheet. It was starting with sales minus variable cost. So what we were getting was contribution. Now, if I am deducting fixed cost out of contribution, I am getting operating profit, that is EBIT. So you can say sales minus variable cost is equal to contribution. Contribution minus fixed cost is equal to operating profit. So over here, what was the amount before fixed cost? It was contribution. And what was the amount after fixed cost? It was operating profit, which is EBIT. As a result of which, the formula of operating leverage is contribution divided by EBIT. You need to understand this, and you are supposed to remember this also. Now, if I want to state it in another format, I can write in this manner. Operating leverage is equal to Q into bracket P minus V divided by Q into bracket P minus V bracket over minus F. Now we would say, sir, what are these quotations? So we are going to decode this particular alphabets. Q here means quantity sold. So in case if you are not given the absolute figures, but you are given with per unit figures, then you cannot directly use this particular formula. So what you are required to do is you can directly put this particular formula, as a result of which you are going to replace each and every denotations by the value which is given to you. So what is Q? Q is quantity sold. Just remember friends over here, when you are a manufacturing unit, your installed capacity is different and your actual capacity is different. So for example, if I say that I have installed machinery in my factory that can manufacture 1 lakh units in a year, but actually how much units I have manufactured? I have only manufactured 75,000 units. So my installed capacity was 1 lakh, but actual production was 75,000 units. And here, friends, you are supposed to write your actual quantity. Fine. As a result of which, under Q, we are going to write actual quantity sold. Second is P. What is P? It is selling price per unit. V. It is variable cost per unit. And what is F? F is your total fixed cost. Like for example, if I'm paying rent of the factory of rupees 50,000 and I'm directly going to write in place of F as 50,000 rupees. Now let's understand what is the outcome of this particular formula. Now what is P? It is my selling price. What is V? It is my variable cost. Now if you recollect our financial sheet, we had learned that sales minus variable cost is equal to contribution. Correct. As a result of which, if I'm solving this particular bracket, I'm going to get contribution per unit. Yes. Now, if I'm multiplying my contribution per unit with the actual quantity sold, then I'm going to get the total contribution. So now I can say my numerator in this formula is equal to numerator in this above formula. So it is one and the same. But if I say that directly figures are given to me, I can put this formula, and if per unit figures are given to me, I can use this formula. It is same. There is no difference in that particular point. This is just the case that if it is an absolute figures, you are going to fill the above one. If it is given per unit wise, then you are going to use the below one. I hope I am clear with the formula. Fine. I would just request you all to just note down this particular formula if possible, or memorize whatever you want to do, because when we are going to do this sum in the next slide, it will be useful to you. So I'm giving you a moment, kindly memorize and note down the same. Fine. Well, friends, I hope you are ready with this particular formula. So it is nothing. It is the amount before fixed cost and the amount after fixed cost as per our financial sheet, which means contribution divided by EBIT, that is operating profit. Fine. Let's take a practical example. The question is being reflected on your screen. It has been written as installed production capacity is 1200 units while actual capacity utilized is 800 units. This is the same thing that I have discussed just a slide before, under which we know that no matter how much is my installed capacity, I know that my machines are capable to manufacture 1200 units. But what is my actual capacity? It is 800 units. So what is going to be my Q? Quantity, it is going to be 800. Selling price per unit is rupees 20 and variable cost per unit is rupees 12. So you know here that the amount is being given per unit wise. So we are going to use the second formula, because we had learned if the direct amount is given, we can use the above formula. But if per unit values are given, it is good to go with the second formula. As a result of which, I am going to take my second formula. And lastly, they have written fixed cost is 3200. Fine. I hope the data which is given is simple. Fine. So as a result of which, I can say I am given with my actual quantity, that is 800. I am given with my selling price per unit 20, variable cost per unit 12, and fixed cost as 3200. Now let's check out this solution. First of all, we are always supposed to write the formula. So this is our formula of operating leverage that you might have written or memorized as the case may be. Q into bracket P minus V divided by Q into bracket P minus V minus F. That is quantity, selling price per unit, variable cost per unit, and total fixed cost. Now let's replace the value which has been given in your question. Now we know what is my actual quantity sold. It is 800. So I will replace the value of Q as 800. What is P? It is my selling price per unit. So I have written 20 as my selling price per unit. What is V? It is my variable cost per unit. So I have written over here 12. So basically I have replaced all the values in the numerator. Now let's go to the denominator. Q is 800. P is 20. That is your selling price per unit. V is 12. That is your variable cost per unit. And what is F? I told you F is your total fixed cost. As a result of which I have directly replaced it with 3200. Now if I'm going to solve this particular equation, then we are going to get this particular value that is being written over here. In numerator, first of all, what we are supposed to do? 20 minus 12, which is going to come as 8. Now 800 multiplied by 8, it is going to be 6400. I hope it is a simple calculation. Again in the denominator, 20 minus 12 is 8. 8 multiplied by 800, it is 6400. Now 6400 minus 3200. So my resultant amount is 3200. I hope you are clear with the normal calculation. So by solving this particular equation, I am getting 6400 divided by 3200, which is coming to 2. So what is basically my operating leverage? If someone asks me, sir, what is your operating leverage? I would say, sir, answer of operating leverage is 2. Now please understand, this is not percentage. This is not in rupees. Fine. This is just your times. It is 2 times. Now how we are supposed to interpret this 2, I am going to explain you in the upcoming slides. But as of now, first of all, I want you all to please be clear how to solve this particular question. So this is what that may come in your examination also. So be prepared for the same. So what you are supposed to remember over here, if you are well equipped with the formula, then I don't think so you are going to face any kind of difficulty when solving this sum. So you need to first of all remember the formula. You may know it logically, or if in the case you can memorize the same so that you can easily implement it. And secondly, you should know how to properly do your mathematical calculation. Once both the aspects are clear, I don't think so you are going to get your answer incorrectly, because it is going to be correct in all these scenarios. So this is what I have taught you as of now. So I'm just giving you a moment. Just go through this entire example so you will get much more clarity. Well, I hope you are clear with this particular illustration and you know how to use the formula and how to put the values in the particular formula. Now, the interpretation part we are going to take in our upcoming lecture. But before ending up, I would just like you all to recall what we have done and covered in today's lecture. So first of all, I had started with the topic of operating leverage, under which we had studied what is operating leverage, under which we had taken 3 important points. First is, it is a measure of sensitivity. I had explained you the meaning of this word. It means by doing a minor change in one particular variable, how much multiplier impact I am going to get on another variable is known as measure of sensitivity. And yes, operating leverage is also a measure of your sensitivity, which is showing the sensitivity between operating profit and the sales. That is, if I'm doing a minor change in the sales, what is going to be the impact on my operating profit? That is my EBIT. Operating leverage is possible only where there is fixed cost. So we have learned in the third point that if there is no fixed cost, we cannot talk about the existence of operating leverage, because I have shown you the calculation. Without operating leverage, your contribution and your EBIT is going to remain the same. So if no fixed cost, there is no existence of operating leverage. Then after we had taken the formula, under which I had given you the first formula, if the direct figures are given to you, we are going to use this. What is the formula? It is contribution divided by EBIT. EBIT is your earnings before interest and tax. In this particular thing, if just imagine, if there is no fixed cost, fine. So in this particular thing, contribution, for example, 50,000, fixed cost 0. So what is my EBIT? It is also going to come to 50,000, as a result of which 50,000 in the numerator, 50,000 in the denominator. So there is no multiplier impact because your answer is 1. So how much change I am going to do in one variable, the same change is going to take in the another variable. So we can say if there is no fixed cost, there is no operating leverage. We are having operating leverage only because of the existence of fixed cost. The second formula that I have given to you is, if your per unit value is given to you, then you are going to use this particular formula. It is one and the same, but this is for per unit viewpoint and this is for your absolute figures viewpoint. What was the formula? Q into bracket P minus V, that is selling price per unit minus variable cost per unit, divided by Q P minus V minus total fixed cost. By solving this particular equation, we can get our answer. Important point to remember over here was, here in Q, we are going to take our actual quantity sold and not the installed capacity, because you can have any units as your installed capacity, that is your capacity can be anything, but what you are actually selling is here the matter of concern. So we are supposed to take the actual quantity sold. And in the third slide, we are taken up with the example that I have written on this particular slide, in which you understood that how to write the formula and how to replace the values in the formula from the sum given. Here the answer of operating leverage is 2. Now what this 2 denotes, we are going to cover the same thing in our upcoming lecture. So I hope I was clear in my today's lecture, and right with this, I, CA Pujan Kapadia, thank you all for your patient listening and hope to see you soon in my upcoming lecture. Thank you, friends.